Hi, this is Jeff, and we're going to go over the differences in our radios now that we've reprogrammed them to meet the metro area standards. I've got one of our Motorola portables here, and the way our channels used to be lined up is we had several zones for each one of the radios, and that's still the case here, but we've changed the zone designation to a lowercase letter, like you'll see right there, so that it's easy for us to tell which zone we're in. It kind of breaks it apart from all the rest of the information here, which is in uppercase, as you can see. And how we used to have it set up is channel 1 and channel 16 at both ends of the dial would both be the Moorhead Fire Department channels you can see on the display here, and I'll rotate the channels back slowly to channel 1. So you can see back on channel 1 we also have Moorhead Fire. So that way in a dark environment, regardless of which direction you turn the display, it'll go back to Moorhead Fire 1. Now that's still true for Zone A, but if we get to any of the other zones, we're going to have a whole different host of channels. In fact, you may not even have Moorhead Fire in that zone, and that's to go in line with how everybody else is doing their channels in the metro area. So just as a quick little refresher, we will change zones by pressing this zone button here in the display, and then using our four-way directional key, and you can see the zone change, and the channel name will change too depending on which zone and which channel you're in. So for example, if we go to zone C as in Charlie and press the home button to accept that, channel 1 is Moorhead PD, and it's channels that Moorhead PD tends to like, or that law enforcement folks would want to be using. And we're going to have a full list of channels posted by each one of the radios, and that should be up and running by about the time you see this video. The big thing to know about changing zones is, and recognizing them, is if your radio is set to the wrong zone, like this one is Zone C and you know I should be in Zone A, you either need to know how to use these buttons to go back to Zone A, or you need to know that if you press and hold this home button here, it will end up sending the radio back to Zone A, Channel 1, which is Moorhead Fire. So for almost any action you have, if you press and hold the home button, it'll take you back to Zone A, Channel 1. Now this overrides any settings that you've got in your channel selector. So in the channel selector here it says we're on Channel 4 of whichever zone you're in, but the radio is reset back to the first channel. So as soon as you start to rotate the channel selector, it's going to go back to normal mode here. I went up to channel 5 and it's at Moorhead PD, and if I go back down to channel 4, you'll notice it shows FM Ambulance 1. And so we'd have to rotate the channel selector physically back to the first channel if we touch that channel selector up there at all. There are a couple channels that have been reprogrammed in here. Our channel 3, we've added a new metro-wide mutual aid channel that everybody can use and everybody should have in all their radios after they've been reprogrammed, at least these newer radios. And we've gotten rid of a few other channels. So we've still got the, we added the Clay County Sheriff back into our Zone A. And we've taken out some of the other fire repeaters that we really didn't use, like the Hawley Fire Repeater and the Barnesville Fire Repeater. But other than that, the channels are the same. Look at your channel listings to see how they work. For more information, we've got a full video on the operation of this radio, as well as the mobile radio, which we'll see in just a sec. Now let's take a look at the mobile radio. Parked here in the parking lot of Trinity Lutheran Church, across the street from McDonald's. And we're going to take a look at the 2500 radio head here. And a couple things should stick out. Once we've had these radios reprogrammed, you'll notice that we've got the zone that shows up at the top of the display. Here it's saying Zone A. And our channel numbers have also changed. That is a change from before. Our main channel used to say Moorhead Fire Department, and now it says MFD1. We've instituted some common channel names to go along with the metro area. And some people's radios can only display 8 channels of character data, so we had to shorten up most of our names. The mobile radios are going to be set up just like the portable radios, and so each zone is going to have 16 channels in it. And for Zone A, which is what you should be on, Channel 1 is going to be Moorhead Fire. And as you spin the channel selector dial around, And as you change the channel selector dial, you will also notice a change in channel names and numbers. And as you get all the way through what would be 16 channels, and there aren't any numbers on this display, but when you get to the end of the list, which is right after the weather channel,
North Dakota,
it's back to Moorhead Fire again in channel position number 16. And when you flip the channel selector one more time, you'll hear it beep to let you know that you just changed back to channel 1, 2, 3 again. And if you move backwards to channel 1 and go to channel 16, it's going to beep again as well to let you know that you've passed channels. There's a new menu button that has shown up now, and that's the zone button. When you press the zone button, now your 4-way directional switch will work just like it does on the portable radio to switch between zones. And again, this is kind of important to know, because if you accidentally hit that button and switch over to a different zone and end up pressing the home button to accept that zone, you might now be on a zone that just simply doesn't have Moorhead Fire as one of the available channels. And so to get back to Zone A, Channel 1, you can repeat the same procedure of the Zone button, followed by the directional buttons till you get to Zone A on the display, and then hitting your Home button. Or you can simply press and hold the Home button, just like on the portable, so that it'll bring you back to Zone A, Channel 1. For discussion on the more advanced features, programming the scan setup, and for a list of all the channels that we have available, again, there'll be a couple other videos out, and we'll have charts posted by each one of the radios. There you go.